All right, we're here with Runaway June, Natalie, Jennifer, Naomi. Great to see you.
What's up, guys?
You see that guy behind Westward there, Alan Jackson? We
Yeah.
put these cardboard cutouts. You opened for him, right? Before we
Yeah.
saw on your, but
Yeah.
how was that?
Awesome.
Who? But also Garth, you guys have opened for, right? So who's more normal as a person? Because there's a lot of stuff about it.
That's very different
a fair
people.
question because we really don't know Alan. We met him one time, whereas we've really gotten to spend time with Garth. So it's an unfair question because we don't know Alan as well.
Also,
they were both nice.
Extremely different personalities. So
No.
more normal in different ways. But yeah,
We
she's right.
spent like 2 minutes with Alan.
But man, is he sweet. He's kind of exactly who you think. Sometimes you meet people and they're not what you had dreamed up in your head at all. Alan definitely is what people think. He's just kind of like, his presence is very
Tall.
It's magnetic. He's very tall. He's
tall.
very handsome. He's very low, well spoken, and talks really smooth and very sweet and warm. But
I'll
yeah,
tell you
we've
who
spent
was
more time
amazing is his wife. We spent more time with his wife.
She's
She was awesome.
She
So,
seemed.
Yeah, if there's any reflection on him, she's amazing.
Wes, anything on Garth?
Garth, I mean, we've heard some rumors that he might have some bodies buried in his backyard. I was wondering if you think there's any truth to that.
Wait,
I
what
never
was
have
that?
heard that.
Wait a second.
How are you? Wait, how have you not heard?
I've heard that.
Oh, okay.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard it, but I just roll
Where
my
did
eyes.
it come from?
Wes will do a better job explaining. It's really funny. If you actually go to his Instagram and read his comments, it's absolutely hilarious.
It came from a comedian. His name's Tom Segura, and his wife. They're stand-up comics, and they just kind of put this out as part of their podcast and comedy routine.
Cora just rag on Garth.
Oh, it's insane. And all their fans now will go to Garth's social media and just riddle the comments with these crazy questions.
Yeah,
but it's so out there that it's funny. It's not specifically
Right.
So-
I've heard Tom Segura, when he was on, he's done Joe Rogan a couple times, but one in particular, he was just ripping on Garth. And he's obviously a comedian, so it's so funny, but yeah.
I feel because you can't say anything bad about Garth, you have to make up something so absurd that it just wouldn't even, wouldn't make sense because he's just the nicest guy.
Speaking of, I did have a question because, we get it too. I saved a DM on our Facebook page. A guy just sent us. He goes, "I'm 40. I need a girlfriend." Was some guy some random guy. But you know how weird Facebook comments can get, Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah.
If you're a guy or a girl, whatever industry you're in, it gets weird. Is that hard for you guys to kind of deal with? You have the Runaway June, but then you have your specific ones. And I assume you got a lot of creepers out there just being weird. We deal with it just on our main page. So
yesterday, a guy commented, "Oh, your toes are so beautiful. I just
What?
wish I could them. You need someone to rub those toes." I'm like, and he left it on the public comment, not even a DM. It's on the page. I'm like, ew, what a creeper. And then of course you have all the other fans going, "Oh yeah, that will win her over." Da da da. Starting to think back to him.
People will be like, "Feet pics aren't free." You seen those hashtags or
Yeah, I'll send my pics, but it's gonna cost you.
Oh my gosh.
Cameo
request.
I gotta say, you're right. There are some weird things. I don't know how family friendly this podcast will be, but
it's not.
You can
family
say
friendly.
anything. We curse. You can say anything. We're drinking Busch Light.
I get a lot of specific requests for underwear.
Come on.
What?
I do.
Are you serious?
And I don't I honestly I don't go into my DMs a ton.
You're happily married, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. They don't, some people don't care about that, but you'd be surprised. I think people think
Natalie's like, "What the hell's going on?"
I think
that is weird.
Oh, I get it a lot.
That
People
is
are
so
all pet
weird.
But also then you got to factor in there are a lot of bots out there too. Bots do this. And if you're not really aware of how the internet runs, you kind of maybe will get a misconception. You don't really factor in, that there are so many literal bots out there doing this, but I think people probably think we get more weird shit than we actually do. We do get some weird stuff.
You spot it pretty quickly. Like there's the ones that are repeat offenders that just keep coming back, and you just kind of are like, oh, whatever. I do get this. I get one guy that always comments on mine about her pants. He's always commenting about Naomi's pants, and I'm like, could you just stop?
Get off my Instagram.
Stop it. Like, ugh.
I imagine it's so much as a trio of women. You actually have a really cool little like tidbit that since 2003, you were the first trio to go top 5 female trio since Dixie Chicks with Buy My Own Drink. So it's you have 3 people and then the band, like I mentioned. So it probably gets a little bit hard to manage, but you kind of just keep you got to put some type of filter on something, right?
Yeah,
can't you
work
like
that block button.
Yeah, you got to do the.
I mean, I'm not just being vanilla when I say like our fans are pretty cool. They really, I mean, the fans, like, they really are pretty cool, and they don't really overstep a lot. We don't get a ton of like obscenity, absurd stuff that's like visible. And honestly,
I hope not.
I'm afraid this is a call to action, though.
If I get,
No.
can we please?
We're trying to prevent it.
It's going to be ridiculous.
We need people to know, like, it's not going to work, guy.
Right. Well, there are the ones where you're like, has that ever worked once for you?
Ever once in your life?
But maybe they need hope, you know? Maybe
Oh.
they need hope, but it's
Maybe.
You're such a kind soul. It's you know.
I don't walk around like if someone's being rude or like, you know, there's been people that'll go on my Instagram and tag one of the girls and say like, oh, but you know, this person looks better, that one doesn't. I just a hard block.
No time for that.
Yeah, absolutely. No time for that stuff. You guys were recently on tour with Luke Bryan and wrapped it up with one of the coolest pranks I've ever seen in my entire life.
Really well done.
Absolutely phenomenal. And like, we've seen them all. We've seen a million. Usually you come out in a costume and just like, you know, they're like, what?
No, we wanted Luke to literally shit himself.
He looked like it.
I think we titled it that.
That's
an article.
We knew that people try to prank him all the time, and that now it's getting hard to prank him. So we're like, everyone tries to do something to him. What if we did something to each other like that? And guys get so weird if a girl cries or if a girl fights. They just don't know what to do. You know, we're like, oh my God, this is perfect. Let's stage a fight on stage. He will not know what to do.
Smart.
He did not know what to do.
His face and Dylan's face. One of my favorites in the video is Dylan looking back and just going, he's like smiling uncomfortably. And poor Luke is just like, you said, he's like holding his heart.
Oh yeah, he was
and
like
he just had his head back and like 4 chins, just like, oh.
The best part of the whole thing was a couple things. One, we got Luke and Dylan in one fell swoop. But we pranked them both. Second, Luke after it, he was so at first he was like, what's going on? And then we had his tour manager involved. So Jen calls for his tour manager. He starts running out, and then you see it on Luke's face like, this is real, you know? And then after the fact, he was like, the best part about it that you guys didn't even mean was that it ruined the rest of my show. He did not recover the rest of the show because the whole crowd was just like, and then also like he went to sing his ballad because we did it like dead center of the show. He went to sing a ballad and the fans come on and just feathers just fucking
went everywhere.
Hit him in the face. Feathers everywhere. He kept slipping on him on stage. So it was just the gift that kept giving. We got that.
He said he's never been got so bad. He said that was the number one got him.
It looks super legit because him and his wife had some kind of like, like corny pranks going on their Instagram last year. It's like, okay, I don't know if this is real. That one, you could see it on his face. It seemed real. We met Luke briefly, whether you like his music or not, some people, whatever, but it seems like he's one of the nicest, most down to earth, normal guys for how big and famous he is.
I've never met someone that at that level of not someone that big, like that is that, and he like, he's in catering, talking to people, and not in the way of like he wants people to know he's nice. It's like not that at all. It's not like he's being the mayor. It's just he's there because he wants to talk to the truck driver. Yeah. It's like I've never seen anything like it. Not at that level. I mean, it's really crazy. It's really crazy. He is so kind, so giving, so down to earth. Like everything is so loose.
And also his team, like you can really tell it comes from the top down, because his team is exactly like that. We've never been treated so well in our entire lives by everybody. I mean, we were treated like we were the stars, and it's because of Luke. You know, he'd been an opener before and not treated well, and he's like, I never want anyone to feel like that. So, you know, from the top down, he's got everyone on his team making you feel like you're, you know, the star of the show.
And I will say it's hard to, when your game of expectations is already so high for someone, because we heard that constantly, like his camp's the best camp to work with, you're going to have so much fun, he's the greatest. You hear that over and over, and you know, it's hard for that to actually meet those expectations, and he so surpassed them. Like I could never have expected how incredible that operation is.
Yeah, but it was like in a vibe, like I'm trying to explain this. It's not like you get, you know, there are people that like want you to know that they're, you know, they're the nicest. Like not that, like.
Any names?
Take himself seriously either. Like he takes what he does very seriously, but he doesn't take himself seriously, which is why we can do that kind of prank and really get him.
Well,
I mean, you know.
And I think Luke is, for me, like, he's like, he's been a dad for a while, but he's filling into that role a little more. He got rid of the spring break stuff. He kind of just like looks more like a dad. He's obviously getting a little older, but like not in a bad way. But you know, he's just like Luke. Like that's just like a nice guy. Like he just has that. A lot of people, even I know we tweeted something the other day, and for sure I forgot was it Farce maybe? Like I know they don't like the music, but they're like, Luke is literally one of the nicest guys out there. He says something, and you hear that from everybody. When you hear from everybody versus just like people that are kind of closely connected in the industry. And we got really sick of the industry, like dealing with like the politics of like Nashville. We don't live in Nashville, but it's kind of like refreshing to see somebody making that much money, that big, who's like normal.
Yeah. You know, just like when all the TikToks and stuff of him helping the girl with her car, putting him in the car. It was so funny because that just went viral, and we saw him, you know, we played with him the next night, and I'm like, you know, now that I know you, I'm like, oh, of course he did. Like that makes so much sense. It's not social media. He didn't even know they were filming it.
He
like
didn't
it wasn't
know
for that at all. He just is the guy that will stop and help you change your tire on the side of the road. Like that's who he is. That's the person he is.
He's like, I had my boys in the truck, and I was taking them hunting, and I pull off the road because I see somebody, and they're like, Dad, what are you doing? I said, well, y'all shut the hell up. I'm obviously trying to do something. Y'all shut up back there. And it's just like you're saying, like a dad, you know, looking back at his kids. Y'all shut up, pipe down. Like I'm doing something.
This is what we do.
Hold the flashlight.
He's the best.
Yeah, hold the flashlight.
He's absolutely the best. We were sad that the tour ended. It's like,
I know,
summer camp, you know, you get to know everybody's name and kind of what they do, and you're high-fiving everybody, and then it's over. And
this is totally non sequitur, but I thought this was so great, talking about like famous people and their kids and everything. And Shaq, I saw a thing on Shaq, and he said, I let my kids know I'm rich. You're not rich.
Yeah, I saw that. We posted some Shaq stuff. He seems so awesome. He just bought a guy like an engagement ring.
The best thing I've ever heard. You're not rich. I'm rich.
Yeah. Did you see the engagement ring story? He was in like a jewelry store, and some guy was shopping for an engagement ring, and I think Shaq just like walked over and bought the ring for the guy or something.
No way. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it was last year. And then the guy, I think, sent Shaq like a picture or something after he proposed. And yeah, it was a really cool moment.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Shaq just went in and just stole that guy's thunder, but the guy could do nothing.
Yeah.
But he probably, I assume Shaq gave him a few more extra
carrots
for the
a few more extra carrots in there.
By the way, Shaq bought this.
Yeah, that is kind of weird, right?
Like,
also
you have to mention Shaq during.
Well, the guy can take the money he saved for the engagement ring and use it more towards whatever, the
Wedding,
honeymoon, another
honeymoon.
vacation, whatever.
Yeah.
I got a bigger diamond, so.
Yeah.
I think he did actually. I think the guy was
Probably.
like,
Yeah.
he was like kind of like, oh, this is my price range, and Shaq was like, no, you're on Shaq's budget now.
Oh, so cool.
Wanted to go back a second to the Buy My Own Drinks, one of your biggest hit. Awesome song. Hangover cures. Do you have one? Or you just ride the wave and kind of do a mimosa, do a Bloody Mary? Or...
Oh, you used to ride the wave when you were like 17, 18. It wasn't that bad.
Oh,
like
yeah.
by midday, it's kind of
love you
gone.
so
17, 18.
Like I would ride I kind of didn't really I was like, I don't get hangovers, and then like
And 26 hits. It's
26 hits, dude. I'm serious. 26 is the age.
yeah.
And it was like, I need Pedialyte, I need a doctor, I'm going to the hospital, and I need an IV.
Need a drip.
Yeah.
Mine is just you have to take 2 ibuprofen before bed.
Yes,
Drink
and B12.
And if you can remember to do that, then in the morning, also those little like the hydration packs
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
put in your water, like that is so great now. And it's basically Pedialyte, but
Yeah.
now that you can take those with you.
My trick is you just do it enough to win. You just get used to it.
That's true too.
Difference anymore.
I
The
do
veteran move.
It's
Yeah.
Pedialyte and like an IV. Yeah.
I just had my worst one.
Face.
Which one?
How blackout drunk you are. You wash that freaking
Oh yeah,
makeup
you
off.
have to wash the makeup.
Oh,
That's the worst part of being super.
that's how I know my wife would be drunk if she didn't wipe her makeup off before bed.
Did you say you just had the worst one the other day?
So Wes and I went to a wedding in Kentucky. I just turned 33 and we went to a friend's wedding. It was 3 days. It almost felt more like a bachelor party because it was just like kind of destination. The guys are just sitting around drinking for 3 days.
Neither of our wives were there. They were at home.
Yeah.
With
So
kids.
like we both have a baby now. And
That's right, you guys do. Both
But-
of you are guys.
yeah, so I knew going in, I paid more for my flight home because it was an early flight. I paid more for the United small plane, like front 1A ticket. I was like, screw it, I'll pay for it. I'm on the plane and I didn't even realize they served beer if you were like in that little section. So I got super excited. So she comes over, it's like 7 a.m, really early, brutal flight. I'm like, this is bad. I'm panic attack because your anxiety, your dehydration, everything's coming together on the plane. Nowhere worse to be hungover than the plane, in my opinion. And then she gives me this like super double hazy IPA. 7 a.m. is just, and boom, I feel better right away. And then I feel like something crunchy in my mouth and like my tooth chipped.
Oh no.
And I'm like, is this salt? Because it was like small. And I was like, I pull it out and I go, and I like feel it. You can barely see it. So I got to go like get a little touch up done. But
When did your tooth chip on the?
I don't know. And I go, is this what happens? Like,
That's a bad hangover.
yeah. And I was like, my body just was like, I got to get out of
Falling
here.
apart.
This little piece just came out. And I was just like, oh my.
Isn't there a part in the movie The Hangover where someone loses their tooth?
Oh yeah. It's,
Yeah. The dentist pulls it out.
Ed Helm, what's his name?
Ed Helms.
Ed Helms, yeah.
Okay.
But I was like, I came home and I told my wife, I go, listen, this is the worst hangover I've probably had since I met you. Like, I just need to I need to nap. And I just, put the football game on a nap on a Sunday, but it gets rough once you hit 30. Like,
Well, and while Steve was losing his teeth on the plane, I was driving home all the way from Kentucky back
Yeah, he
to
had to-
Chicago.
yeah.
Dropped his ass
What a fun trip.
Dropped
Sleeping-
his ass off at the airport at 7 a.m. and drove all the way back to Chicago.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
Having to drive early in the morning when you've been up all night drinking, that is.
The whole time you're like, I need
I'm like,
Chick-fil-A's
and a
not
beer-
open. It's Sunday. It's like,
A beer would make me feel better, but
Yeah. And
Yeah.
a Coke. I get like a big Coke. It's just
Oh,
like full of sugar.
helps, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the key is like if you're not too blackout, do a little something before you go to sleep. Like that's the wisdom I have to impart.
what is it? Do a little something. What is it?
Like drink some Pedialyte.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do a couple
some
things
hydration
before
going.
you go to sleep. I gotta say, I was a little hungover. We had midnight margaritas, like at the night that we did
After the prank,
and that was like our end of tour kind of like. I was a little hungover, but it was like straight tequila. Also, don't mix, kids.
Don't mix. That's what I did that at the beginning of the LB tour.
Don't smoke
So
weed.
I actually
don't
did
mix
okay on
anything.
the midnight margaritas because I took it slow because it was.
That would be
a
a
lot of
$1 billion investment, $1 billion thing if you could cure the hangover.
Oh God.
Everybody always, there's alcohol that they claim they're trying to make like a hangover proof, and
imagine if.
But the weed thing is true. There's like if you smoke weed after getting that good, like you're drunk, then you're gonna be out.
Cooked, yeah.
Yeah, but a little bit.
Hangover cures like that.
See,
they definitely have tapped into that.
I haven't been able to get one when I've been hungover. I'm gonna have to try that.
All right, did we answer that question?
Yeah, I like an edible too when I'm hungover.
Right.
Yeah, we're pros. How much of an alcoholic are you guys?
Yeah, right. It's like I don't know. I got like 5 beer cans right here.
Right. So I was thinking if you saw my alcohol stash just literally on this desk.
Alcoholic, yeah.
All right, now switching gears back to normal stuff, Wes.
You guys recently obviously added Natalie to the band last year, I believe, was that. What does you, Natalie, being a fiddle player kind of bring? Because you were such a badass fiddle player in your own band. And then when I found out that you were joining them, I thought it was absolutely awesome move. But does that change the way you guys kind of write together, the way you guys kind of create music and melody together? Or was that something that you kind of always were like, well, we hope we got a fiddle player somewhere in there? Is that changed at all?
Player for free because they had fiddle on all the early demos and had to stop having it in the music because they couldn't afford one on the road.
We couldn't afford a fiddle player.
This was their evil plan all along.
Yeah.
I will say though, one of the most fun things of the last year has been having her in the writer's room. Like having a fiddle in the writer's room, I can't explain how it's so exciting, and all the co-writers get so excited too. They're like, oh my God, we've never written with a fiddle in the room. Like it just adds something so special and fun. I can't even describe it. It's awesome.
It's also this nostalgic sound that somehow is like, it sounds fresh because it hasn't been really prevalent in the country music genre for a long time. But man, it's such a foundational sound for what you think of when you think of like country roots, Western music, whatever. It's such a fundamental piece to that whole soundscape. So to hear it put in the right ways and it's done correctly, it sounds modern, but you also have this like remembrance of this nostalgic feel, which to us was kind of like the perfect ingredients. It's like just getting the right ingredients at the right time is kind of, the battle. It's like the right mix. And I feel like we really kind of tapped into it with Dan Huff and bringing Natalie in. I think we got there. I think we really got there with something.
And for me too, it's like I just haven't changed anything. I don't do it any different than I have. I just, come in and we write, and sometimes it's nice to have the fiddle in the room because you can lean into a riff or something. Yeah. But at the same time, it's not always. No pun intended. Sometimes put it down and we're just on guitars. So it's just, it doesn't feel any different to me.
But y'all, it also brings this this supercharged energy to the live show, which is so sick. It like our shows are super high energy to begin with, but now there's like this fiddle dynamic, and Natalie's such a natural performer. Like you can have musicians that are extremely good technical players, but are not really
stage
great
presence
performers. Yeah. And you can get them there and they're good on stage, but man, Natalie is such a natural performer that like it just literally is so packed with energy that it's just fun. I feel like our sets are they're just over. Yeah, they never feel long enough. Like 25, 26 minutes is it like first of 3 is just like boom, bam, over. But that's another element that was really amazing. And we thought that through. Like we knew Natalie was such a great performer and super comfortable on stage. And Jen and I really wanted our show to feel that way. And I think we got there. Yeah.
Did you ever feel pressure as a band, like through like the Nashville way to sound more poppy? Because I think for Wes and myself, it was exciting to see like the insertion of the fiddle more, like how you described. But we see it all the time with, you know, major labels and stuff. It's, oh, maybe this is chase this trend or chase that trend, but you kind of had your, we want to do this. It seems like you were all on the same page about that.
Yeah, but we definitely have felt pressure to go a little more poppy or more mainstream, and you know,
Impossible.
Every time you get in the room, like, gotta write a single, you know, up tempo pop single. So I think you always feel that pressure, but I think it's important to find a balance and stick to what you really love and what's authentic to you, because that comes across in your music, if it's authentic or not, you know. So try to ride that balance.
And kind of what shakes out at the end too, it's like there's just so many songs that we look at that we've all written, and what ends up shaking out is the best songs. And so you're not really putting it through that like, oh, it's got to be pop or not filter, but it is harder when you start from that place.
I think that is one of the biggest mistakes you can make, is to chase a trend. And you're always going to have label executives and people kind of pressuring you into chasing something that's making a lot of money in the moment. But man, the moment that you start chasing a trend, you're behind, and you're behind it. And it's just, it's a massive mistake. And I think that we've been able to stay strong as a unit and not give into that, even though we've gotten we actually have gotten a lot of pressure. And, you know, we'll turn in songs that are just like, oh, that's not quite it. But we just are like, yeah, that is it. This is it.
I love that. Yeah.
Got us in trouble before, but you know what? It's like, why fix what's not broken? Like, this is what our fans want to hear. This is what we make in the room. This is what we sound like when we're playing with just instruments. And to change that and chase something else is just a huge mistake. I'm proud of us for kind of seeing that from far away and not ever getting on that.
Well, and I think the EP is pretty versatile too. It still stays kind of true to who you guys are as a band, but like there's any one of those songs could be a radio single, at least in my mind.
Thanks,
well,
Wes.
thank you. And I think that's like really, Dan Huff is so good at keeping our sound authentic to us, but still letting the song live in between a Thomas Rhett and a Florida Georgia Line or whatever. Dan is so good about finding that perfect balance of a song being a radio friendly song, but still being authentic to our sound.
Because we do know that we have to, like, when you look at the chart as a playlist, you know, if you look at the radio chart and it's like, you look at it as like a Spotify playlist, like we know we have to sound competitive and fit in that, you know, we can't be way left of center, but we're really not. So if you have if you're smart and you get the right producer who can kind of help you fit in there, and you're truly competitive with the sound, then you've really hit something. And that's not an easy thing to do, but man, Dan Huff he was able to do that with us. And
he's
we're really grateful.
Secret.
It's so beautiful.
Who
to be
is
able
that
to trust
baby,
him.
by the way?
I know who's barking. I love it.
I was like, I hope they don't. This is Maverick.
Dogs.
Maverick, come here.
Maverick.
Maverick, you're beautiful.
And the whole interview got
Maverick, these ladies want to meet you.
So cute. What is he, a shepherd mix?
He's a shepherd and a husky, yeah.
Oh, wow.
German shepherd and husky.
Beautiful. What I love about you guys so much is like you guys ask the real questions, and you know, we do a ton of interviews that are just like,
oh, you want to blow your brains out, let's be honest. We know that. That's how
people are not prepared, and they ask us very kind of like girl questions, and it's just really nice to have like real music. You guys are true like music lovers, and it feels really good. Thank you.
We've also been frustrated over the years, and I've even just like straight up just like told labels on an email, they're like, oh, how could you say that? I'm like, you don't let the women have as much leeway when it comes to the podcast. It's true. It's 100% true. Like, guys can come on here, drink whiskey, shoot the shit, say whatever they want. And then as soon as we you know, are doing something with a female artist, it's all these like,
I need to hear it first. I want to run it back.
And I go,
can we take this out?
And we've called them out, and they get pissed, and then they go, oh, we're not gonna. And I was like, a lot of these people want to just talk. Like our podcast is about talking and conversational, laughing, making, jokes, whatever.
Making jokes about Garth, like.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, but that's.
You guys are your memes. They're my favorite memes.
Oh, thanks. I'm still pissed though. Like we sent you guys a ton of stuff.
Oh yeah,
ladies, a ton of stuff. Sorry, and the label lost it or something. Somebody lost it.
What
There's
is
a
that?
bunch of slack.
This might have been last year. So we can redo one and make sure we send it to a more secure place. Because who knows if it got dropped off on a porch somewhere like in Nashville? I don't know.
In front of the label.
Sorry, guys. I would have loved.
I think it was like 3 years ago because it was before the pandemic.
Was it?
Yeah,
I don't even remember.
It was a while ago. It was definitely a while ago.
Some swag for sure.
Yeah, we got a lot of cool new stuff, so we'd love to send it.
Yeah, that was a bummer. Did not get back to us.
Wanted to ask, because of some of your songs, and then I saw you posting Luke Bryan's beer as well, the Tulane Brewery. What's your drink of choice though on a normal, if you had to pick one?
The one that you're buying for yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm in a bar, it's whiskey.
Okay, so you guys want to hear
just straight?
Yeah, on the rocks.
Okay. I like. Yeah, nice.
Super funny story. So we have a partnership with Tulane. We genuinely like this beer. We're not beer drinkers either, and it's actually very, very good.
The seltzers have some cool different.
So
flavors.
we get out there with Luke, and we're at Staples Center, and he comes up to us and he goes, "Y'all are not gonna believe this." He's like, I'm on Instagram, and like I saw one of y'all's posts, and it was about Tulane, and I was like, and I showed my manager, I was like, dang, these girls really like Tulane. And granted, like these are like posed kind of like pictures.
And he's been telling us like, too for like the last couple of weeks. He's like, "Man, thank you girls so much for posting about it." Posting about it so much, and we're kind of like, "You're welcome."
You're like, "You're welcome."
Paying us?
And so his manager goes, "Luke, like we're partnered with them." He thought
you just were loving it.
These like professional photos, like by ourselves, just
out of pocket.
We were just kissing his ass.
And he was like, "I thought y'all were kind of weird."
Like, okay, I get it. You want to be in the story.
He didn't see hashtag ad.
Hilarious. Yeah, like
hashtag sponsored.
Like, yeah, exactly. It was hilarious.
Awesome.
Okay, so anyway, that being said, I love red wine and high shelf tequila. I am a snob with tequila.
But you can't drink. I mean, come on. The well tequila, there's not a lot of well tequila that ranks high.
I didn't like tequila until I started drinking the nicer stuff, and I was like, "Oh, I love tequila."
Yeah.
George Strait's Código.
It's so good.
It's like
Plaza Azul, the blue and white bottle.
Yeah.
We love that.
Some 1942,
so
and then also Duke Bourbon has a tequila that they just started making. That's very good.
Awesome.
I've seen that post. Duke Spirits, I think is what they call them. But they make bourbon. Other stuff. Yeah, I haven't tried it.
Yeah, Natalie's a bourbon girl. I'm tequila.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm red wine.
And I like I'll drink the red wine with her. I'll drink the tequila with her, and then sometimes I want bourbon. So
I love a good South American red wine.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, like Chilean red wine.
Yeah.
Man, I love some pisco too. I have to say.
Pisco sour.
I went to Chile and I had 1,000 million pisco sours everywhere I went. I was like, I want a pisco sour.
And you brought back some wine, didn't you, from Chile?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
I brought back a lot of wine.
Yeah.
Of course you did.
Yeah, there's some good wine out there. It's just like an endless world if you really dive into it. But yeah, we love red wine. We've got red wine on the rider and tequila.
Also champagne. We actually really love champagne too.
That's a good drunk. That's like my face feels all like
tingly.
Yeah.
I just get a headache.
What about you guys? What's your? Did you just
for the? So I've learned something, especially with my wife, with the help of my wife. If I drink whiskey on the podcast, I drink way too much. So it's just because I'm constantly doing this. Yeah. Next thing I know, I look over, I'm like, oh shit, like I'm a little wobbly getting
I can't walk out of here.
But with beer, I have to kind of temper it because I don't want to have to get up to pee more than once, which happens if the podcast is really long. So if you start drinking too much beer, but I do like red wine a lot. Try Croatian wine, by the way. I got married in Croatia. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, I went to a winery when I was in Croatia, and it was like the most beautiful winery there.
Yeah, Anthony Bourdain, one of my favorite people, when he went there for the first time years ago, he was like, "How this is like the most hidden gem that there is for the food, the wine, the everything." And my dad was born there actually, so like.
Okay, I was about to ask why Croatia. So
we got in Dubrovnik where we got married there, where it got super popular because of Game of Thrones. So Dubrovnik used to be this like hidden gem, and then now it's like tourist central, which kind of sucks.
Is it ruined?
No, it's not ruined. Like they're not. No. They don't let you do. Kind of like if you go to Iceland, like they don't let you walk on certain trails. Like they want to keep it pristine. Similar to that, but just like bigger crowds kind of maneuvering their ways through.
And in Europe, that's their vacation spot. They go to
Europe. I compare it to Mexico for America.
Oh wow. Dude, I've always wanted to go to Croatia and the Czech Republic.
And the cool thing in Croatia, we stopped in Slovenia, then Czech Republic for the honeymoon.
Guys, honeymoon.
What's that?
Did you guys stay there in honeymoon?
No, so we were there for a week, and then we went to Slovenia, which is a really it's very similar to Colorado and Slovenia where I live now.
Wait,
and then
dad's from there?
My dad was born in Croatia. My mom was born in Serbia. So it was like the old like Eastern European Yugoslavia. Yeah.
Do you speak any?
So what happens is when you grow up with parents that speak it, you understand it fluently, and you kind of like don't want to speak it. You get made fun of in school because your parents talk weird or something. And then as you get older and kind of like more into like appreciating it, you forget kind of to speak it as well, but you can still understand it fluently. Yeah. Which sucks. Like, but when I go there, I feel I'm like, yeah, cool. Like I can like kind of get it.
Get around.
Yeah.
From Serbia.
But it's
Croatian.
That part of the world is super. It's like underrated. Like all that part, like kind of going up to the Czech area and everything. It's just like beautiful. There's like mountains. There's great wine. There's great food. Great cheese.
Yeah,
and all that stuff.
About Italy, like Italy's kind of where they go, or they go to Spain or something. But like, man,
But that's easy. Like Croatia, you can take a boat right across to Italy. It's not long. You know.
Drove from Croatia to Italy to Venice, and then came back in a day.
Well, Venice is a great example of a place where it's just nothing but tourists. Like almost nothing. It's literally sinking. Like it's not gonna be around forever. You know, it's pretty bad. Like how much it's sinking.
Had drinks, I would say Chivali. That means cheers and
yeah.
Yeah.
Chivali.
That's fun. Chivali. Man,
You're the first guest that's ever.
And
ever.
Probably will be the only.
No, but we've had guests that were like, oh yeah, Croatia, like whatever.
What's so funny is dobro means good, and for us, dobro is a dobro, you know. And so when I didn't know part of the language, when I went there, I'm like, God, everyone's talking about like dobro here. Like,
right.
They have dobros in Croatia. Oh,
popular instrument.
Good.
That's such a good point, right? Does anybody play that instrument? These days?
None of us do. Yeah, that's it.
One of our faves, but
that's it. Dobro is an instrument that you have to like dedicate yourself to for years. I mean, it is very hard to play. I kind of really haven't veered from the guitar much. I mean, I play a little piano, but no.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it sounds so cool, and it's like, but it's like such an art form to play. I mean, all instruments are in a way, but like, I don't know. I really wish I could play that too. I only play the guitar and I play like shit, but I wish I'm on the same boat as you. I wish I could play it.
So are you both still in Colorado?
I'm in Chicago still.
You're in Colorado, Steve. Yeah.
Yep, I am.
Yeah. Okay. Do you ski?
I don't ski. A lot of people tend to ask me that. Like I like to be outside a lot, but skiing is one of those things. Wes,
I snowboard.
You're snowboarding. But yeah, I just moved here. I'm not even a year here. So I moved here in December. So
I love Colorado.
It's been awesome, and Wes I think is going to get out here. Hopefully, it tends to lead to this conversation sometimes on the podcast. Hey, where are you guys at? Like, and then I'm always on Wes's ass. Like, come on, like, come on.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting out of Chicago now.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah. We just had a baby like 7 weeks ago, so we're kind of
him and his wife.
Not me and Steve.
Man,
Boy
so
or
many
girl?
babies.
It's a girl.
What's her name?
Her name is Evie Jo.
Oh,
Evie!
That's so
What,
adorable.
Steve? What's your baby's name?
Luca.
God, you guys.
Wow.
Spelled with a K though, so it's Eastern European, not Italian.
That's
Yeah.
my best friend that's from Serbia, has a son named
Luca.
Lucas.
Really? Well, the thing I have to deal with now is because the Disney movie, right? Or so everybody's like, oh, Luca, like the movie. I'm like, no, Luca with a K, because in the movie it's a C and it's Italian. So it's always just like this little thing.
And you kind of like, to anyone who doesn't know, you look Italian. They're just probably like.
Well, there's the basketball player Luka Doncic for the Mavericks, one of the best. So like I'm always like that, like more like that guy. And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But all right,
Yeah.
just another quick question for you guys. Do you have the EP? Any plans for the next single Wes mentioned, or are you guys not waiting? Are you waiting to kind of put that out there?
Did you say single?
The single from the EP. Are you gonna release a new single or wait a little bit?
Just released it, so we're gonna kind of wait a little and see how people are reacting to it. And nowadays it's all streaming. People are following more streaming than radio, so we're letting our babies fly and seeing which one reacts.
We're also going into the holiday season. It's like right on
Weird
that.
time. Yeah.
Like, okay, well, we're kind of switching into holiday gear. We've already talked about the holiday record a couple times today, so it's kind of like we're gonna let these, let them fly for a little bit.
Yeah, we haven't made a decision. I mean, we have our favorites, but honestly, I could go with any of them. I think we're just kind of a little bit leaving it up to the fans a little bit and kind of just seeing how it plays out, and then hopefully in the spring we'll have it narrowed down a little more.
Nice.
I'd like to submit my vote for Forgot About That. I'm just saying.
Oh, yo, that's my favorite one. That's my favorite one. Yeah.
We have a pretty good feel usually, I think.
Yeah,
You guys do.
You guys have a pulse on
You guys
things.
have a great feel. What's yours, Steve?
I like T-shirt a lot, but like whatever. It's
That seems to be the
those
two,
are
though.
the-
The two that everybody.
My
takes sides
favorite is down the middle, but
It-
not a single, but like
Yeah.
I think
it seems like one of the weirdest part of the industry. So we've had actually Naomi, I think you and I talked a lot at Joe's Bar. You guys were opening for Midland, I believe, or
And Party
and John Party. Was it John Party?
Party and Midland. That was a great
okay.
tour.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And you were killing it, but we've had a lot of back in Chicago, a lot of concerts, and there's like label people there, and they would ask us like, hey, what should be the single? And it's so weird, that process, because we've talked to a lot of artists who are very like dead set on a song, and then they finally give in to the label releases the single they don't want to release, and it doesn't do well, and then Wes and I are like, see like, it's because sometimes we're like, how can you release this as a single when this song is hitting so hard on social media? And it's like you have all these crusty people like not paying attention to socials, it seems like sometimes, but it's a very weird part of the business to me is picking that.
Extremely weird, and there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen with different metrics. Some people are very metric oriented. Some people want to go with the song that's reacting well live, and then the artist just has a feeling for something. There's so many people involved, and depending on like your confidence or your success level, that's how involved you are with picking the single.
Make that call.
Kind of like don't want to be removed from it. It's very, very different with different labels, different artists. It's so the process, there's not like one process. But yeah, I agree. There's a lot of crusty people that are a little detached and not very creative, making a lot of the decisions, and you can really feel that. I mean, I feel like genuinely, I think that more people our age should be in higher levels of the industry because we're more connected. You know, we're listening to Spotify. Like people like you guys, like why aren't people like you guys running labels? Like I feel the same with politics. Like why is an 85-year-old person who's never been to a grocery store making decisions? We're passing legislation on technology they don't fucking understand or use. It's the same thing.
It's so true. It's so true. It drives us absolutely insane. And that's why we stopped doing the song and dance with Nashville a couple years ago.
A&R for Sony. I'm not kidding. Like, why?
Put in the word. We'll start a division.
I actually have a domain bought already for a label for us just in case. It was just like, so why not? But hey, no, seriously, if you don't mind, hang on for 1 second after we hit stop record. I want to ask a question to the three of you. But this was a lot of fun. We're gonna promote the hell out of the music, whatever the new single ends up being, and you three were a blast to talk to and catch up with.
You guys are always fun.